¿Todos hablan inglés o no? ¿Lo hacemos en inglés o prefieren que sea en castellano y vamos por Gustavo, digo? ¿Alguno no habla inglés? Todos hablan inglés, me parece, ¿no?
Ufa, gracias.
Okay. ¿Lo hacemos en inglés? Okay. Well, courtesy for Gustavo.
Es mejor para você. Mi portuñol no es muy bueno,
No.
¿sabes?
No problem. So, just something to clarify, Beatriz, she's from Cometa, but it's from Mexico, Cometa, not from Argentina. So it's important because of the word. I know that Cometa here means another thing. And we are not going to talk about cometas. Excellent. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. We were talking about, we have yesterday an amazing day at the Investment Forum. Really excited about what's happening this week in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. So a pleasure to have you here, our very good friends and very prestigious funds operating in LATAM and even in the US. So first of all, would you like to, your name we already know, but maybe to start with your investment thesis. I don't know, Beatriz, would you like to start?
Yeah, well, I work at Cometa. Cometa, we are a VC fund based on Mexico City. We do mostly, well, we do companies all around Spanish-speaking markets, so that's Latin America, excluding Brazil. Companies that are focused on US, well, on Hispanic world in the US, and also companies in Spain that want to come to Latin America. We are doing mostly tech companies. On tech specifically, we are doing software companies. And, well, we're going to talk, I think, about that. And we've evolved in our thesis, but keep it like short to those tech companies. Lots of fintech, lots of SaaS, B2B models, and, well, very happy to be here.
Excellent. Gustavo?
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and to your country, which I love a lot. Norte Ventures, we are a very early stage fund. We do pre-seed and seed investments. LATAM, 80% Brazil, 20% the rest, mainly Argentina, Colombia, and Mexico. We are followers, true followers, so I tend to say that Norte is like the Switzerland of tech because we co-invest with all the funds, actually. International funds that comes to Brazil, with Argentinian funds, Utopia and 17 Sigma. So we see ourselves more like an ecosystem, but we have a very specific thing in our strategy because we are a founders fund. Our LP base are the founders of the tech companies or the VC funds. So this made our strategy very strong because then our deal flow happens to be nowadays, in Brazil at least, 99% of the deals that goes in Brazil, it goes by Norte. We have done 100 investments in the region. In Argentina, we have investors in TAPI,
We are going to talk about Argentina. Don't fast forward.
Yeah,
okay?
But in our strategy...
I'm going to ask which is the best ecosystem of LATAM, and why is Argentina?
I prefer Argentina than Brazil, actually.
And
we invest in Fintech, B2B SaaS, AI applied. I think it's a very big disruption, and Web3. We are very big fans. So
we are going to talk about that also. Excellent. Renzo.
So, pleasure to be
here. Not
here.
from Italy, but I don't know why. He's more Colombian than James Rodriguez.
It's a pleasure to be here in Buenos Aires, even though I'm kind of always in Buenos Aires events. So super happy to be here. I'm from H20. H20 is a fund based out of Miami. We were born and raised in Miami. But our thesis is a cross-border thesis. We invest a lot in Miami founders, Florida founders, and some US founders. But we also do a lot of Mexico, where we have another office, and Colombia, Argentina, Chile it's my region. It's like I'm the head of Spanish-speaking LATAM. Our portfolio right now, it's like in the Spanish-speaking LATAM is, I could say it's something around 50-50 between Colombia and Argentina. We invest mostly in B2B, even though I'm a huge fan of B2C, but we invest mostly in B2B. We do a lot of verticalized SaaS, and we do a lot of fintech, mostly on the fintech ops back office, not really on the lending side. We're not really good doing lending, but we really like startups on the operational side, on the boring business, and in payments.
Excellent. Well, maybe we can continue with that. Let's talk about fintech because we are here. So what are you investing? What are you seeing? And if you have seen an evolution?
Yeah, definitely. Is it me?
Yes.
Okay. So definitely we have seen an evolution, and I will start with the type of founders that we have seen in fintech. What we're investing right now, we have companies that do cross-border payments for SMBs, that do remittances, back office, acquisition. So they are really into the fintech side, but all of these founders have and this has been recently invested, that they are really senior and they really know the problem from inside the industry. So what we're seeing right now is people that it's getting into troubles, I would say, because these are sectors that are pretty well regulated, that need compliance from day one in these type of countries, and that building infrastructure or be good of building infrastructure is not enough. You really need to know why are you building infrastructure and what are you solving with the infrastructure, because you need to be compliant from day one, you need to be regulated from day one, and sometimes you need to acquire licenses from day one. So fintech, it's kind of one of the sectors that I like the most because of this, because you speak with people that is really passionate about a problem, but it's not solving any problem, it's solving a problem that kind of is very well regulated. So that's what we're seeing right now, and that's why we're over-investing in these kind of companies.
Gustavo?
A lot of what you said is, I think we all agree on it. I will try to get another angle, which is fintech is one of our focus as well. Why? Fund one, when we look back to the fund one, fintech is where you have most exits, companies that are able to raise more capital. You have a huge TAM attached. You have many sub-strategies within the big macro theme. And in Brazil, at least, we have the central bank, which is super pro-market. They have done a huge work on infrastructures, payments, PIX, now with DREX coming on a Web3, blockchain, structures, stable coins. So we have seen in Brazil an evolution of the fintech market, now from Nubank, right? Like imagine 2010, we were talking about banking, B2C, and then you saw the evolution coming from credit, and then, and also our local SEC has done an amazing job with the FIGI, like the structured credit products that allows capital raise into the capital markets, traditional capital markets. And then you saw, the infrastructure coming in place. Now you have securitization coming in place and bank as a service. So over years of, and VC is a young strategy in our countries. So over the years, fintech has delivered the best returns, the fund returners of each one of the funds of the industry. You have done amazing transformation without, like you said, they're changing something that they're disrupting within inefficiencies.
Yep.
So that's why, and now I think Web3, token assets, real world assets, that's a new revolution applied with AI. So now the next, and we can go deeper on that, AI with the agents inside WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is going to be the new platform with banking, with token assets on chain. This is, I think, the next 10 years, a mega trend that every fund should be looking at.
Well, WhatsApp is the operating system of LATAM, so
exactly.
It should be there, okay? Even governments work at WhatsApp.
Yeah, as for Cometa, I think, and in the same line as Gustavo was saying, I think in Latin America, we've had, well, excluding Brazil, we have had that evolution also. So, for example, Cometa, back in 2012, we were doing e-commerce. And then we realized we didn't have like the enablers in the region to fully boost e-commerce. So we started doing payments, then lending. And now we're moving more to an infrastructure scope. But also, we are not like getting off this cash economy. So everything and everything that's been going on in fintech, it's being in this like mark of a cash economy. A cash economy and an economy that has a really big wedge on funding for SMEs, on digitalization, for enterprises. So I think those are like the main drivers of the evolution of the investment thesis of our funds, at least.
Excellent. And what do you see, what do you like or don't like? What do you think of the Argentinian ecosystem?
I start?
Yes.
I think what we've seen the most is that you've got like great talent. One of the things that we like the most in our companies, although they are not Argentinian based, some of them, they have like good tech talent in here.
Engineers are amazing from
Yeah.
here.
Though that's one thing. And a second thing that we've seen a lot is that you have like the ability to do a lot and grow your companies without like that much funding. And that's good for a venture, because when we arrive and when you guys are looking for funding, we find companies that have had a big evolution and have had like muscle enough to compete with other companies that are more developed and that have raised more funds. So they are like an hybrid, I would say.
Dealing with scarcity and
Yeah.
cash efficient. Okay.
Yeah.
Gustavo?
I think first would be the talent, on the technology talent. I think you guys have an amazing colleges and you were well prepared compared to Brazilians, for example, super honest. I think you have Kazakh and Mercado Libre. You cannot, this is like Kazakh is the best fund of VC, period. It's Kazakh and the rest of the world. It's true, guys. In Brazil, they're gods. And because Mercado Libre is the biggest company of Latam, beats any bank, any Itaús. It's bizarre. And it's a company that has been born, like the inception was like 20 years ago. Max, I don't know.
25.
25. So it's the proven thesis that technology is the future. And so you guys are you have that. And I think with that comes a lot of the talents comes from that. It's a process as evolution, our market. So I would say that when we look for Argentina, I think but on the other hand, I think it's important to say that it's not that many companies. You have very good, so it's like, it's like a sniper. When we look at companies here, say, wow, this when it comes, even it's competition to get in, it's hard because, if you see the number of startups in Brazil, it's bizarre. And maybe that's due to, past years, there was, because of all the politicals and all the things, there was no much incentivized. But, so you guys need to have more entrepreneurs. You have everything to be having more deals. We have the talents, you have the funding, you have the, everything. I think you need to have more founders coming from Argentina.
Excellent. And of course, if you have any company that you have invested in from Argentina, you can mention. Okay.
We have
as well.
But
yeah,
from my side, I would say that there is like this flywheel that I always see on the ecosystems, and I think Argentina is the one that has the most evolved and complete flywheel in terms of there is like this third generation talking about founders of Kazakh that used to be founders of Mercado Libre, whatever, but they are already in a level where they can give back to the ecosystem, and so that's the first layer of this flywheel. But you already are seeing people that really knows how to build a career in the tech ecosystem, and that only happens in Argentina, I think. I mean, Colombia, it's too early for that. Chile is too early for that. In Argentina, you see that people had already completed, and it's not only in the Mercado Libres. And I remember like 5 years ago or 4 years ago when we started like looking at Argentina like really deep. We were in a famous asado at Newtopia House, and we had these conversations with, I don't know, 3, 5 persons, and all of them used to have like, no, I did an exit to Meli, I did an exit to Despegar, and it wasn't like, okay, yeah, Mercado Libre is huge, whatever, but this wasn't an exit that it was huge, but it was an exit.
Globant is huge as well.
So, yeah, or to Globant, or to Despegar. So it was already this ecosystem and this flywheel going on, and they were building their second company with Argentinian talent, but they already knew like the playbook of how to do that. And I think, I mean, for me, being an investor for 14 years and in Latam, like the only country, once again excluding Brazil, nothing against you, Gustavo, but is Argentina, that has this type of founders that have a lot of founders that have already completed this.
Second-time founders.
The second time, third time founders. They have been broken, they have sold, and now they're building their third company. And that's amazing. That makes a lot of value to the company. In terms of talent, there is proven concept for junior talent to become tech talent. So that's also amazing. They used to be cheap. I don't know, right now it's not anymore. That story, I don't buy it anymore because they are super talented. So you're competing with companies outside Latam. So it's not that the reason, but I think it's more the reason because they are really talented and they really know like this flywheel is in effect.
Okay.
Can I?
You wanted to say something.
I want to say something too, but go first.
No, yeah, adding to that point, I think that what is happening in Argentina is that you have like many experienced or second-time founders, and you still have an economy and a region where there's like a lot of data that has not been yet like organized. And I mean like in fintech, from cash transactions, from different undigitized areas. So you have those experienced second-time founders, and you have still a great area of opportunity to do and to solve and digitize. And I think that the best would be to have like all the inputs, like the online and offline inputs, so you could make like this data set as huge as it is and as ordered as you could be, so you can make like different solutions in fintech at least.
Yeah, and in Brazil, I say something very similar to what you said, which we call the mafias. You have the 99 mafia, the iFood mafia, like you have
You're talking to an Italian, so.
Yeah. A Sicilian mafia. But the mafia, which is Rappi mafia, which is huge, and it's think about it, US is our reference, right? That's where VC started. And then you have the PayPal mafia, which is one of maybe the most known, and most of the companies that we use came from it. So what happened in 2018, 17, 18, with the region, I think, low interest rates, IPO boom, or SoftBank effect landing in Latam, they put $7 billion, which was summing up all the funds from Kazakh, Monarchs, all the big funds. So there was a change and the change also came with liquidity from founders. When 99 was sold to Didi, when like all these 34 or 5 say like unicorns that came, they generate liquidity. And the founders of those companies, new banks and all, what they do? They become angels. They invest back. So the ecosystem, or like the full flywheel that you mentioned from pre-seed to IPO was completed. So I think that has a lot to do with that as well.
Sure.
And Brazil had, like you said, Brazil, because of the size of the country, like a continental country we were able to produce a lot of those, which brings and gives back a lot.
Excellent. And I don't know, we don't have many defects, but if you could think of something that we could improve in the Argentinian ecosystem, what would you say?
Well, one of my main questionings in the IC was, and it was I think it was a relevant defect. It was that we couldn't count on the local market to make a PMF. So you need to start experiencing outside Argentina, because the investors were not putting their we were the investor that we wouldn't want to put the money inside Argentina. So that was good in the terms that the founders always were looking outside Argentina, but it was a defect in terms that it was much more expensive to always start to, when you were in the zero moment, start building for Mexico or for Brazil or for the US, wherever. It was good, but that was a defect because it was much more expensive. And now that we're seeing that there is no this flow of money in the VC, I think it was hard, but hopefully that will change, and the local market is starting, as we saw yesterday, to look pretty attractive. But for me, that was kind of a thing for super early startups.
Okay.
I think going more to Brazil, it's no, it's true because you have a good experience, like your Argentinian companies. We like each other besides soccer.
Yes, of course.
We need to see more Argentinian companies.
They are.
Because what happened is, and not only Argentinian, I've been going like this Colombia, Tech Week, and speaking. One of the things that I really want to come in here is like we need to be closer. I think VC can get us closer. What happens is you start a company in Argentina or in Colombia, in Mexico. You go to the speaking Spanish countries, but you should think like, I don't know, Pomelo, for example. It's one of our portfolio company. Gaston is an amazing founder. Man, he started Pomelo, Brazil, boom, boom, boom. You have to do more of that. So I think we need to incentivize, maybe the government will help, incentivize more this cross-border exchange and companies going there. So that would be an advice. And any company that wants to go to Brazil, you can always talk to us. We're more than welcome to help.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can add like that much to what you just said. So I think it's really important for companies to go abroad. What we like to see in companies is that they have operations not only here, but also in other countries. So you can like make it more defensible, like your traction, your growth. And I think when you can prove your model works in more than one economy, it's a great signal.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about crypto. Try to act normal, okay?
Okay.
I know you're
I will
super excited.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold
Let's
myself.
try. No, but let's talk. What do you see, and what do you see in the region and in Argentina? What do you about crypto?
Who, me?
Yes.
Okay. I go. I believe I think crypto is, I will say, about digital assets, right? Because I think one of the, because I think what crypto, and I think Argentina, we were talking that before the panel, you guys are very into it, because I'm invested in Ripio as well, but like back in the day, so before Norte. Sebastian is within the market, he's a legend, right? I think crypto or digital assets, token assets, stable coins, that's going to be the future. That is one problem, regulation. And I'm not saying that it's the lack of a regulation. Look, I'm all pro entrepreneurship, liberal, and etc. But we need to have regulations in place because you need to know where the money goes, where it comes from and where it goes. Because otherwise we can have a huge problem, right? So I think that's where I've been. In Brazil, it's very, very into it. No, our central bank, as so far, we're going to change, unfortunately. But it is the future. So I think all transactions will be on chain. For example, who likes it, but BlackRock, one of the biggest asset managers in the world, Larry Flink, read what he says. He does believe, and I do believe, all the assets will be digitalized. Real estate, arts, credit, you name it. So this is the future. And crypto was the beginning of it. So you brought the awareness, the technology behind, Ethereum and Solana and other blockchains are. This is going to be I think, the financial industry of the world. So I'm a big believer. We have we have been looking to a lot of that, mainly on infrastructure and token asset, because one thing is for you to buy crypto. One thing is for you to buy a beautiful asset, because the cost will be reduced. So instead of buying, I don't know, a credit structure through a fund, if you buy on a token, it's on-chain, peer-to-peer, encrypted, safe, it's there. So I think for the future, like I said, I'm a big believer, and I think you guys are ahead of that. So that game is something that you guys could influentiate a lot other markets, for example.
Yeah, from my side, I have I'm going to separate this into tokenization and crypto.
Yep.
Coming from Colombia, where we had a lot of money laundering, there's a huge issue there, and definitely crypto is not helping.
In any ways.
That's the truth. So we need, as you were mentioning, Gustavo, regulation for that, and this anarchy that wants to be ruled through the crypto world. Man, we really need to get into sense on that and get the regulation so we know how the transactions are flowing and to who they're flowing.
Yep.
That's something that needs to be addressed, and there's a big discussion over there. In the other side, in tokenization, I'm a huge believer of fractional ownership in everything, and that the world is going to be a better world with fractional ownership, and definitely tokenization is the golden key for that. In terms of real estate, that it's the easy, low-hanging fruit. In terms of stock exchange, in terms of values, and whatever you can mention as an asset, I definitely think there is a huge opportunity there in terms of security, transparency, and value created for the tenant or for the owner of that value. Or that asset. So in tokenization, I'm a huge believer. There's a lot to be built. We're seeing banks already talking about how to tokenize and improve their security, the traceabilidad, traceability of the transaction, of the assets they are moving. So I really believe in that. In crypto, even though I believe there is value there is a need for regulation and to open up for the problems that we had in this region, because otherwise this is going to keep on being an underground economy that doesn't help anyone.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think that until we get to that point of the regulation and that we can have crypto as the main value prop, what we've seen is that it's been really helpful for other companies to use all Web3, you can add to that AI and stuff, to make the value prop like a boost to the value prop. So the tokenization of assets, and you can have that boost to other value props that you already have, so you can make things different. And I think that's something that we've seen a lot. You're adding value on how you're doing things different, and making it more efficient, more down to earth, if you want to say it.
Excellent. Well, just to finish, and very quickly, after this panel, I'm sure that they are going to attack you, many entrepreneurs at the venue. So what they shouldn't say, that they usually say you or mention, and what tips for the approach for you, what you are interested in this pitch, in the elevator pitch, and what they usually say and you don't need to hear and you don't want them to mention. Yes.
Okay. We talk to everyone, okay? But on a quick elevator pitch, try just to, get my attention just by saying, look, I'm doing a round, I'm raising $500,000, $1 million. I'm a B2B, I'm a Fintech, I have a deck, and I would love to set a call with you if you can send me your Calendly. You're not gonna sell me something in 2 minutes or 1 minute at all. So I need to have at least a 1 hour conversation, at least, and look through your information. So if you have like a short encounter with any one of us, my opinion is that always be precise and try to get my WhatsApp and send me the information and schedule a call. That's like, otherwise, nobody's going to sell anything from you. Forget about it.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, the same. I would say that just to make sure that you are on the investment thesis of the fund, and if yes, like schedule a follow-on call.
Yeah, I would say from my side, don't start attacking the incumbents from the slide one in your pitch, like, I'm going to kill off the banks, because that's not true. Even if you are attacking the banks, you need to be closer to them because you have to keep close your friends and even closer your enemies. So if you're competing against the banks, have a good relation with them. And if you're not competing against the bank, you must be selling to the banks, one way or another. So I think the real fintech entrepreneur has the common way we have seen, or the thing we have seen, is that they have a really respectful relation growing their company with the banks or through the banks. So I would say I'm not believing you if you are saying I'm going to end all the banks. That's
So
not going
if
to happen.
don't come with Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
Well, it was a real pleasure. Thank you for coming here. Big round of applause, please.
Thank you.